Hello students, welcome to the fourth lesson, Oru Manushan. Oru Manushan is written by Vaikom Muhammad Bashir, who according to you is a good human being. We have different notions, different prejudices about human beings. We say some are very good people, some are bad people, isn't it? So how do we differentiate good and bad human beings? What is the parameter of a good human being and a bad human being? Think of these qualities in a person. Whom do we call as a good person or a bad person? Helping others. Some people have the nature of helping others, extracting money from others, living a self-contented life, and being violent. What of these qualities are good and what are bad? The writer narrates his own experience of meeting different kind of people. What makes a human being good or bad? According to him, no one is completely good or no one is completely bad. The situation makes them so. Every human being acts in a different way in different situations. That is what he tries to tell here through his own experience. You have no definite plans. He starts the lesson or he starts his narration like this. You have no definite plans. You are wandering around far away from home. Just imagine the situation. You are somewhere away from your home. You don't have any definite plans. You have no money with you. Imagine a situation like that. You have no money with you. You don't know the local language. You can speak English and Hindustani. But very few people know either of these languages. Means in that place where you are living, people neither know English or Hindustani. And the local language of that place, you don't know. This can land you in many predicaments, problems, difficulties. If you are caught in such a situation, such situation can bring you so many difficulties. Many adventures can befall you. Every day you will have a new adventure, new difficulty to face, which you have to strive hard to come out of it. I hope you understood the situation. Very strange and very different or difficult situation it is. You are away from home. You don't have money, you don't have plans, you don't know the local language of that place, and what language you know, people there don't know. This is the situation which can make you very strange, which can bring you very difficult situations. You find yourself caught in a dangerous situation. A total stranger rescues you. Even after years pass by, you will sometimes remember the man and wonder why he did so. And in such a situation, you fall in a difficulty and a total stranger whom you don't know, maybe good or bad, you don't know anything about that person, and such a person whom you are thinking as good people, they don't come to your help. But a totally a stranger person comes and rescues you. He saves you from that difficult situation. And years after that also, you keep on thinking, who was that person and why did he save me in that situation? Whether he was a good person or a bad person. Isn't it? So, let us see such a story of the narrator. Let us say it is I, not you. So the narrator says, let us imagine that the person who has caught in such a situation is he himself and not you. Who remembers the man? Means a man, the man who has rescued him, who had saved him from such a strange and difficult situation, he is remembering that person now. I am now narrating an experience which I had. I have some vague notions about human beings. Everybody has that. Not only the narrator, we have different vague notions about human beings, including myself. We have a different notion about ourselves also. I am like this, I am like that. He is like that, she is like this. These are the different notions. We judge people very soon. Is it not? So, like that, the narrator also has some particular notions about human beings. There are around me good men and thieves, those who suffer from various infectious diseases, and from madness. One has to live carefully. So there are so many different kinds of people out there. There are good people, there are bad people, there are thieves, there are murderers, there are criminals, and there are sick people, there are people who suffer from different diseases, infectious diseases, and there are mad people also in society, and they are all around us. And one has to live very carefully amidst these people. The world has more evil than good. When something goes wrong with us, we usually think, it's a human tendency that we think, oh, the world has more evil than good. We realize this only after we get hurt. So when we realize this, or when we feel that the world has more evil than good, only when we are hurt, when we get hurt or things go wrong with us. Let me record here that incident which was perhaps quite insignificant. Something had happened with the narrator long back, and now he is just recalling it. It was quite a big city in the valley of a mountain, some 1,500 miles from home, the inhabitants of which had never been known for the quality of mercy. They were a cruel people. Murder, robbery, pickpocketing, these were daily occurrences. So the people in that place where the narrator lived were not good people. According to the narrator, they were not good people. They were very bad people, and the things like murder, pickpocketing, robbery, these were the daily occurrences. They did not mind doing all these things every day. By tradition, the people were professional soldiers, but by profession, these people were soldiers. Some of them went to distant places and lent out money on interest. Some people worked there only, some people went out to work, and some of them, they lent money on interest. Many others served as watchmen in banks, mills, and large commercial establishments in big cities. And many people, they worked as watchmen in banks, mills, and here and there, and large commercial establishments also. Money was highly valued by them. Money was everything for them. For money, they would do anything, even commit murder. This was the mentality of those people. For money, they would do anything. Even they used to commit murder for the sake of money. Now, you might have got the picture of those people, how the people were. I stayed in that city in a very small, dingy room in a dirty street. Very small, dirty room. The narrator was staying in that city where people were bad, and he was staying in a very small and dirty room in a dirty street. I carried on a profession there, teaching English to some migrant laborers from 9:30 till 11 in the night. So he has to earn his bread somehow. So he used to teach them, those people, the migrant laborers were there. Migrant laborers means the laborers who had come from different place. Such laborers, he used to teach English, and from night, whole day they used to work, and at night they used to learn, for some time they used to learn English from this narrator. I taught them to write addresses in English. So what English he used to teach? He used to teach them to write their addresses. They used to write letters, to their family members. So after writing the letter, how to write addresses, he used to teach them. Learning to write an address in English was considered great education there. Means the people were very backward and uneducated. They even did not know how to write an address in English. And so, learning to write an address in English was a great education there. You must have seen people who write addresses at the post office. They were paid anything between 1 anna and 4 annas for writing an address. The person who did not know to write address in English, such people used to go to post office, and there one person used to be there who used to write address, and he used to charge between 1 anna and 4 annas anything, and they used to pay him and they used to get the address written from him. So instead of that, this narrator thought of teaching these migrant laborers to write address in English on themselves. I taught the skill of writing addresses to people in order to escape the same fate myself and to see if I could save some money. In those days, I would sleep all day and wake up at 4 in the evening. This was to save the expense of drinking my morning tea or eating the noon meal. He earned very little, and in that he wanted to save some money also. So, to save money, he used to get up in the afternoon so that his morning tea and noon meal would skip. He used to have only one time meal in the whole day and save the money of one time meal and tea. One day, I got up at 4 p.m. as usual. I finished my daily chores and stepped out for my tea and a meal. So as usual, one day he got up at 4 in the afternoon and he came out of his room for his meal and tea. You must understand that I was dressed in a suit. He had that reputation there, because he knew English. He had to be in that manner. So he had dressed in a suit. I had a wallet in my coat pocket. He had a small wallet in his coat pocket. I had 14 rupees in it. And how much money he had in that wallet? 14 rupees. My life's savings at the time. And that was all he had saved in his lifetime at that time. I entered a crowded restaurant. I ate a full meal consisting of chapatis and meat curry. I drank tea as well. The bill came to 11 annas. So after coming out of his room, he went to a restaurant where he had his meal. And what was the meal? He had chapatis, a meat curry, and he also had tea after his meal, and the total bill was 11 annas. coat pocket to pay it, I began sweating profusely and almost digested in an instant all that I had eaten. The reason was my wallet was not there. So he wanted to take out the money and pay to the restaurant owner. He started, when he put his hand in his pocket, he started to sweat profusely and he felt as if whatever he had eaten had digested instantly. That was because he did not find his wallet in his coat pocket. What happened? We will see in the next class. Thank you.